Welcome back to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Thank you for staying with us. The All-In Monument was unveiled on Thursday afternoon. It was designed by Jalem Yudovic. Minister for Culture, Fortuna Belrose, underscored the importance of the moment for the people of St. Lucia.
This gentleman is revered in a country with over 7 billion people, but yet many St. Lucians have never seen his work. And so, although he is displayed internationally, our society didn't know him. A prophet is always not recognized or least recognized in his own country. But he was a child of the independence era, and you'll hear more about that later on. So as minister to oversee the implementation of this project, I'm extremely proud to serve and be a part of this momentous project unveiling. In the last 40 years, we have witnessed the explosion of St. Lucian talent and St. Lucian people on the world stage. Our Nobel laureates, our sportsmen and women, our artists, our culinary experts, our craftspeople, our musicians, and our music have and continue to receive global recognition.
We will have more on the unveiling in a subsequent broadcast. Former educator Gibeon Ferdinand speaks on the recent viral bullying video, saying the incident is glaring evidence of where education is placed on the government's list of priorities. He says bullying is no new issue. However, more focus and investment should have been placed in the sector to fight the issue. He says an SLP government will ensure that the matter is given due attention.
The former principal of the Miku Secondary School, Gibeon Ferdinand, has accused the government of St. Lucia of not paying enough attention and due diligence to the education sector. Ferdinand was addressing the recent viral videos showing a young St. Mary's College student being bullied by a fellow student of the same school whilst on a school bus. He said not enough is being done on the governmental front to tackle the problem, as the sector is not where it should be on the priorities list.
Clearly tells you what the priority of the present government is. It tells you where education is placed in the pecking order. And not only education, healthcare, and other social services or matters that relate to the care and protection, especially of the vulnerable. Now, school children would definitely be part of that group. And if the government does not have education as a priority, I've said that at every opportunity that I've been given, that from 2016, this country has seen education as a side. I don't even have a word for it. It is clearly not a priority. So Arthur Lewis, in terms of the teacher training program, the program is virtually non-existent. They have reduced the training. The primary program, I don't think is being offered anymore. And so you find that the focus in our country for social services and education, including healthcare, is not there.
Ferdinand said there were measures put in place to tackle issues like bullying in the past. However, said measures were changed or removed altogether. Positive
discipline is one of the areas that had started during the previous administration. The Child-Friendly School Initiative is one of those that comes under positive discipline. The Miku Secondary School, where I was principal, was the first secondary school to have piloted that program. And it is in line with the issue of dealing with avoiding punitive measures in dealing with student discipline, as well as promoting positive discipline and leadership in students. Now, bullying is an issue that has showed its ugly face in the past, and I believe that any serious government would have given more attention to such issues and put resources into it. I have heard a few things being mentioned here and there from the minister about training, but there is no specific policy position as far as the government is concerned about how we're going to invest in the things that affect our education system.
The former principal turned politician made assurances that an SLP administration would restore education to its high priority ranking. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I'm Rochelle Gonzalez.
Castries Mayor Peterson Francis has informed vendors that their new home base will be ready to receive them mid or end of November. The first phase of the market redevelopment project was set to be completed in September, but officials say delays were unavoidable. The mayor and some members of the project team reported to vendors on the situation. Vendors had the opportunity to express their concerns about the anticipated move back to the revamped market. Mr. Poyot, a project official, said allowances were made for that issue. Vendors also expressed concern about the issue of second-hand smoke, a problem that they say plagued them at the market. The Castries mayor said he shares the concern about public smoking and promised action on the issue. He said city police will be getting the smokers out of the market. A focus on cultivating young teachers was the approach highlighted during the recent education conference hosted by the St. Lucia Teachers Union in partnership with the St. Lucia Credit Cooperative Limited. On Wednesday, the 2nd of October, at the Financial Center, key stakeholders gathered to engage in group discussions under a guiding theme, I Teach for a Better World, a focus on young teachers. Solange Alfred tells us more.
The annual education conference is revered as an integral part of Teacher Appreciation Week, celebrated from September 30th to October 7th in St. Lucia. President of the St. Lucia Teachers Union, Julian Monrose, drove home the point of self-sufficiency as he challenged the Ministry of Education. Monrose highlights the plight of the average St. Lucian teacher and says a better quality environment for teachers attributes to a better delivery of education to students.
We know we cannot always depend on the Ministry of Education to take education where it has to go. And so therefore, as professionals and as an organization of professionals, we must take the lead to ensure that education delivers in the way that we expect it to be. Because education is about developing our people, ensuring that our people are prepared for the future. And that is a responsibility that we must take very seriously. That is a responsibility sometimes I'm not even certain that the Ministry of Education understands too well. If they understood it, then they would not have us working in the kind of poor conditions that they have us working. That they would spend more money on providing the resources that are necessary. Because if you want quality education, you have to have quality teachers, very important. You must have quality tools. You must have quality environment. That is what makes for quality education.
Addressing the theme of the conference was guest speaker Dr. Jimmy Fletcher. The Chevening alumni, hailed as a global change maker, highlights his thoughts on the issues affecting the environment of teachers. Fletcher says his speech focused on the importance of teachers broadening their minds and accepting the change in times.
They are living in a world where information is very widely available, and that impacts on their own teaching methods. It's not like in my time where information is very linear and you got it from only one source. Students now get information from multiple sources, and teachers have to be engaged in the process of continuous learning themselves, because they always have to keep abreast of what's going on. That the education system needs to, in addition to imparting the fundamental skills that it always has, it has to now teach children how to think creatively, how to analyze, how to collaborate, how to communicate. So there are other skills that need to be imparted. But I think the most important message was really to reinforce the point that the education system is not broken. The education system, the same people who say the education system is broken are the ones who've benefited from it and who've excelled in it. The education system needs a bit of recalibrating. There are some things that need to be tweaked. There are better institutional mechanisms that need to be put in place, not by the teachers, but by the authorities. There's a greater recognition that needs to be given to teachers for the work that they do, and that there are certain things that we hold dear that we need to revisit.
The conference provides the forum for educators to meet and deliberate on matters critical to the practice of education. First Vice President, St. Lucia Teachers Union, Dawn Howell, says the education conference is the perfect setting for like-minded individuals to share solutions to issues arising in the education field.
The format of today's conference provides an opportunity for us to listen, for us to assimilate, for us to discuss the issues. It then gives us an opportunity to share ideas and also to map a way forward for the SLTU. This will guide our views as an organization on policy and our advocacy on the issues that affect teachers. The theme today lends itself to much discussion. I trust that today we'll participate. We will be good participants to this conference.
The education conference has been held for over 10 years. The 2019 edition was attended by a large group of teachers, principals, and Ministry of Education officials. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Solange Alfred.
Partners and like-minded individuals gathered at the Finance Administrative Center for the reviewing of the second draft of the strategic plan that guides the work of the St. Lucia National Trust. Communication and Advocacy Officer of the St. Lucia National Trust, Coretta Crooks-Charles, says partners have outlined areas of development they have entrusted the SLNT to implement in order to boost membership and optimize effectiveness through a more guided approach.
So the St. Lucia National Trust is continuing what we call our roadshow to discuss our second draft of the strategic plan that will basically guide our work program for the next 10 years. That's from 2020 to 2030. And so what happened here today at the Financial Center is that we had a few members of the trust as well as the private and public sector. So you had agencies like the Folk Research Center, Cultural Development Foundation, National Conservation Authority, Department of Sustainable Development. We had our patron, Dame Paulette Louise, there, and quite a few other persons. And they basically reviewed the document, that's our strategic plan, and they came and gave us information as to where they would want to see us go and how they could support us in getting to that place where every St. Lucian becomes a member and every St. Lucian understands the value that needs to be placed on taking care of our heritage, not only for those who are alive right now, but for future generations of St. Lucians.
Crooks-Charles says stakeholders provided feedback after reviewing the second draft of the strategic plan and implored the management of the trust to be more vocal and visible, among other recommendations.
Some of the things that members and persons here today made reference to, they wanted the trust to be a bit more focused in its mandate. Some of them said that we sort of try to do too much because that's our mandate, heritage conservation, which is a mammoth task. So they want us to sort of zone in. Maybe every 3 years we could change that if it's built heritage or if it's natural heritage. They wanted us to place a dollar value, so to speak, on our heritage assets so that people can see not just the sentimental reason for valuing something, but see really what they can earn from it. So what livelihoods can be made out of heritage conservation. They also reference the need for membership to grow, because on record we have about 2,500 persons who are members, but not everybody is financial. And whilst membership is just a little bit of money, we look at the numbers. That is what we get our strength from. So 2005 in the grand scheme of things is not that many. So that was one of the issues raised, that we need to increase our membership. So I'm making an appeal to all St. Lucian to become a member of the trust. If you genuinely care about protecting and preserving and taking care of what we have right now for ourselves and the future, you would join the trust. It's as little as $5 for children and $40 for adults annually.
The second draft of the strategic plan can be viewed on the website of the St. Lucia National Trust at www.slunatrust.org. This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Stay with us. There is more news coming up after the break.